Ben Hunt to the Roosters. Yes, indeed, all the talk is about he's going to go up to Queensland, but this could be where he's heading. Yes, the Sydney Roosters won't say it publicly, but they are in the background trying to nut out a deal, which could be a potential swap deal with Sam Walker going over to the Dragons. There's also Nick Politis also is really keen on getting Ben Hunt here. They obviously want to win a premiership now, and that's why they want the immediate release so they can sign him right here, right now, and let Matt Lodge go now. That is what is happening out there. Whether it actually happens, who knows. But Shane Flanagan, for what I've heard, obviously wants Ben Hunt to stay, but if it's not going to be the case, they want Joey Manu from the Roosters to play fullback. This is what I'm hearing, and this might be where the swap may happen, if it is going to indeed happen. Joey Manu obviously was happy to play centre initially, but the way he played on the weekend showed again that he is fullback material, and with Tedesco re-signing again, this is less likely he's going to be playing fullback for the Roosters. So don't be surprised if he walks out the door and goes off for another opportunity. He probably wish he went to the Warriors. Obviously, other teams that are obviously in the hunt, well, obviously the talk around the Titans is a possibility. Yes, indeed. There's obviously Met with Phil Gould at the Bulldogs. You got the Knights, Tigers, even though Dolphins are saying they're not, but don't be surprised if he ends up there. But to be fair, Dinkum, where is he likely to head? Well, out of those teams, it's obviously the Titans is the talk. If he wants to go back to Queensland, and he's only really, he's got three options here. And I think the one that I think they got a little bit too ahead of themselves with Luke Brooks. So I think it's actually Ben Hunt is who the Cowboys are looking at, and letting Chad Townsend go to the Super League. Whether that eventuates, these are just two clubs that I believe are trying to find a way to get Ben Hunt there. And I think that has pushed Luke Brooks to the side a little bit, and Luke Brooks will have to wait till Ben Hunt makes his future before anyone signs him. That is what I'm hearing. Where do I? Obviously, the Roosters are going to have to get rid of a few players if they want to get Ben Hunt. Sam Walker's the obvious one, but they probably have to let go another player. This is especially for next season, and they could be Suoleki, obviously, Crichton, all up for possibly Joey Manu. Looks like, and Lodge looks like he's out the door. He is out the door. So there is an option there for the Roosters and the Cowboys to sneak in there. But don't be surprised if the Dolphins go there. I don't know. From what I can gather, Wayne Bennett doesn't like to spend big money on the real old school players. He will in the forward pack, but when it comes to the thing, so I don't see him going there, even though it is an option for him. So obviously for the Titans, if they're going to, obviously Sexton and Boyd would be probably out the door. Both of them will be out the door. Which leaves where will Luke Brooks end up? Well, that's another $1 million question. And that's pretty much all the same teams I just listed, all available for Luke Brooks. Other signing news, Josh Schuster, obviously with all this happening, the Dragons are now a shot at getting Schuster with his with Flanagan's approach to attack. He really loves in the Manly, and the podcast he did with White TKR, with Isaac John. Have a look at that. That'll give you an idea of maybe he'll end up at the Dragons in 2024. Well, obviously, other big news for Warriors fans out there. Tuivasa Sheck, will he return next week for the Warriors? There's a bit of rumours going around that he is going to be playing next week for the Warriors. Will it happen? They'll be signing him at about $200,000. Is he worth it? Will it create disharmony in the team? Because this is the question mark. Does he go straight back into fullback, which I think most Warriors fans would agree would be his best position, and no doubt. But would he be fit enough to play fullback straight away? That's probably another question. And what does that do to Chance? He came here to be fullback. He will be a little disappointed if he has to move on. But I think if you go team first mentality, you will see Roger Tuivasa Sheck back in the full-back position. Whether it's straight away or not, he can easily play on the wing and at a punch play 5'8" if need be, just to get his fitness up. But yes, Tuivasa Sheck could be back in the Warriors within a week or two. We'll see if it happens or not, because obviously missing out on All Blacks, he has the opportunity to come back to rugby league and maybe play grand finals footy, which has been a long time for the Warriors. So yeah, obviously that is the big dilemma for the Warriors if they do bring Roger back this season. Will it make some disharmony in the team, or will it just enhance their chances of going deep into the finals? Well, let's get to the finals. Let's talk about the games on the weekend. Any of these teams' premiership threats? There wasn't too many playing this weekend, to be honest, but we'll have a look. The Cowboys get it done in a thriller against the Panthers, who had their worst defensive performance of the season, but obviously had quite a lot of players out. If you looked on paper, purely on paper, the Panthers should have probably won this game, with 59 tackle breaks compared to 37. More run meters, more offloads, 13-5. More kicking meters, less missed tackles. The list just goes on and on and on. And who should have won this game? I'm telling you now, it should have been Penrith. But the excitement machine of Scott Drinkwater with his razzle dazzle got it done in the end, and he was the difference for 2 tries, 200 run meters, 1 line break, 7 tackle breaks. Dearden was outstanding. Obviously unlucky not to be in the Origin team, but obviously when you're following behind Cameron Munster, it's pretty hard to crack into this team. So he played a good game, 126 run meters, 2 line breaks and 1 try assist. Jason Tomalolo back to his barn swimming best for 200 run meters. So, and Kyle Fouts as well, outstanding. And on the Panther side, Dylan Edwards again, 333 run meters, outstanding. Outstanding, all right. Carving up. Very much carving up. Jamin Salmon stepped up, I thought, without Luai and Cleary. He had a very good game with 1 line break assist and 1 try assist. So very good game from him. And Lindsay Smith was the best of the pack. Maybe some of the rest of the pack were a little bit quiet, but for me, and I've said it all season, Sonny Luke is not doing enough to keep himself in the team. He's been disappointing this season, and he will keep himself out of the team after that performance. Disappointing for someone who should be running the ball more, which is starting to come a trend. There's a lot more players like the Cameron Smith model, which is good, but there's not really anyone anywhere near Cameron Smith's ability at the moment. Knights versus the Roosters. Getting back to the Cowboys and the Panthers. The Panthers is definitely a premiership threat, and Nathan Cleary having that rest is probably again going to be good for them. But for the other side, the Cowboys getting the win, it's good. They might make the finals, but I don't see them winning it. And this game is probably the same for these two teams, Knights and the Roosters. If you've been totally honest with yourselves, it was the worst game of footy of the round. Absolutely was. Even Bulldogs played probably better than these two teams, even though they lost. Believe it or not, they were very well completion rate. So it was a bludger of a game. Obviously, when Cleary went off, the game sort of helped the Knights stay in it. Otherwise, the Roosters probably would have ran rampant. But both teams went the greatest here. 72% completion rate for the Roosters and 66% for the Knights. Clearly not NRL standard. The rest of it was pretty even between these two teams. That's why the score was close in the end. Kalen Ponga, over 240 run meters, 2 line breaks, 1 line break assist, and 1 try assist. Dominic Young, 2 tries, but he also bombed a try. Where if you look at so the Knights are missing obviously a dummy half and a halfback at this stage. So obviously they'll be liking a Luke Brooks and Ben Hunt. Would they get any of them? Obviously Luke Brooks is more likely, but I'm not seeing either of them going there. Ponga hasn't set that's probably one of his best games for the Knights, to be honest, but he hasn't really set the world on fire. And very much like Ben Hunt, the only star player and they're not getting it done. But actually Ben Hunt plays more consistent than Kalen Ponga. I have to give Ben Hunt that. And also no firepower up front really with the Knights. Obviously since David Clement's gone, they do have the Savidi brothers in there, but they're just not going as much punch forward as they used to. With the Roosters, Jerry Manu, as I said, playing excellent at fullback, but the only question mark I have on him, and that's a question mark on tuivasa sheck too when he returns, is their offload, their passing game is not there with Tedesco. Even though Tedesco has been one of the great fullbacks of late, he's not up to Billy Slater's talents in passing game, and that's what he needs to bring, like Latrell has got. Here's Daniel Tupou, 287 run meters. He was very good in that. Butcher, 176 meters, very good as well. So was Angus Crichton, and White played well as well. So there was quite a few good signs for the Roosters. Probably one of their better performances for a while, even though there might have been scrappy knock-ons, but they definitely were looking better until Carey went down. So there is promising signs for Roosters fans, and maybe Ben Hunt might join them. So who knows? Yeah, but to me it was, and Tupanua has really struggled this season. Just hasn't come back good at all. I'm not sure what's happening there, but he really needs to lift this game if the Roosters want to have any chance of doing anything in this set in 2023. Now the Eels versus the Seagulls. Have we just seen one premiership threat trying to make another grand final and the other team imploding? And that's what it looked like to me. The Eels should have won by 50. They were pretty bad. 66% completion rate, 800 at least run meters, 12 tackle breaks to 42 of the Eels, 25 ineffective tackles, 42 missed tackles to the Eels 12. That's why I thought the score could have been even more of a blowout. Both teams were missing plenty of players, so there was no excuse for the score to be this big. But if you looked at the result purely on paper, you probably thought Brown and Moses were both playing. They weren't, and they got the job done. That is good signs for you Eels fans. And I think when you have a look at the start of the season, they had a tough start to the season, and it's proved to be right, and they really are starting to hit these straps now. Good signs for you Eels fans, and finals footy is there. Even though I did pick them to miss the 8, let's see if that happens or not. But they really have improved of late. Bailey Simonson had his best game in the Eels jumper, 200 run meters with 2 tries, 2 line breaks, was very good. King Guffo, 130 run meters, 1 try, 5 goals, 1 line break, 2 line break assists and 2 tries, just outstanding. Ryan Madison and Jermaine Hopgood have impressed all season. Every game they played, they have been one of the best on the field, and both unlucky not to be in the reckoning for Origin selection, in my opinion. The Eagles, to me, just not much to write home about. Christian Tuilopu, 141 run meters, 3 line breaks here as well, and Coola's been one of their best all season. 1 line break, 2 break assists, 2 line break assists, and 1 try assist. But yes, it's all back to the drawing board here, and I think Seabold, their away form has been tragic, and that's probably what's going to make them miss the finals. Even though I think Manly can make the finals, but they're going to need to all click, and they need Trebojevic back very shortly, Jack Trebojevic, just to tidy up their middle. Campbelltown, yes, Campbelltown Stadium, and the Tigers, the 6 points thanks to Alex 12. Congratulations on your first try. With all the Origin stars out, they could only get their 1 try. Big issues in the spine, obviously, for you Tigers fans. But the Storm were just a better team overall. 82% completion rate to 72%, more run meters, more kick meters. But interesting sight for you Tigers fans is that you had better defence in terms of missed tackles, not the scoreboard obviously. More offloads, tackle breaks, and line breaks, which is interesting for the Tigers fans. But obviously the scrambled defence is where the problem is. There's not enough hunger there from the team. And when you heard Sheen's comments about his offensive play on James Graham buy round, you have to question whether or not they're doing the right thing by the Tigers fans and getting the games won, because they're not defending good enough. So that's definitely a concern for you Tigers fans going forward. But Isaiah Papali'i had his best game for the Tigers this season, 192 run meters, but he's probably wishing he stayed at the Eels. Sean Bloor again has been very good for the Tigers. But the Storm fans, obviously this was just one player match really. Will Warbrick, 4 tries, 156 run meters and 3 line breaks. George Jennings, very good, 198 run meters. It was good to see Tua Kamamika playing one of his better games for the Storm. 147 run meters, and Jerome Hughes running the ball well. So all signs looking good for the Storm, but I do think they're going to falter in the finals because I think their overall 17 is not up with the best in the comp. But with Munster in the team, anything can happen for you Storm fans. The final game of the round, there wasn't much to report. Everyone was expecting this result and the scoreline. Bulldogs look like they're probably going to get wooden spoon again. They completed well, though, 78% completion rate, but this reminds me of the Warriors when Stephen Kearney was the coach. They were getting that stuff done, but they just couldn't get it done on the scoreboard. So Cameron Sorrello is really getting tested out here. Obviously, there's been injuries to this team this season, which has not helped. And obviously, Matt Britton getting pulled out late hasn't helped the cause either. But it was the Hines show, no doubt about it. 238 run meters, 3 line break assists, 2 try assists. He was outstanding. Yes, my only question with Nico Hines, which a lot of people are talking about, is doing it in the big games against the best teams. Seems to go missing. He's very good in broken play, and in the NRL level, with some of the teams, obviously, you get a bit more space, but with the big defensive teams, that's where the Sharks get beaten. The Sharks need to improve that game big time in the defence. They're going to be any chance in the finals. Even though I already write them off as not a title contender this year after losing by 50 points. So, Jack Williams and Dale Finucane were very good for them as well. For you Doggies fans, obviously Jacob Graz has been outstanding all season. He's been one of their best all year. Tafita Pangai Jr. much better today, and he has had a pretty good year, to be honest. Probably unlucky not to get another shot at New South Wales. And obviously, what's doing in rugby league land? Well, that is the Barry Charles Footy Show. For another look at obviously what happened with Ben Hunt and Roger Tuivasa Sheck, maybe on his return, and the review show. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and send this video to all your family and friends so they can know about the greatest game of all, rugby league.